Hey guys, few more thoughts from this last week of football. This really crazy game. My Manchester United friends, you guys, I don't know what to think about the journey you must be on. This is beyond funny now. Like what's happening under Eric Ten Hag at your club is just, yeah. I like it when Manchester United is good. I'll say that. Of course I like it when they lose, but like when it gets this crazy, I don't know. I still get a laugh here and there, but it's not as much fun as it is when, a good United team gets rinsed by another decent team. But anyway, I didn't sit down here to talk about Manchester United. I wanted to just talk about Arsenal's exit in the Champions League. Some really good games over the Champions League again this week. Borussia Dortmund killing it, doing what most of us didn't expect. I know Atleti are not the team they used to be, but, a Simeone team to concede that many goals, that's just not normal. But they did it. And then PSG, I think the referee played an important role there. I don't think the referee was, way out of line to give Araujo the red card. I'm not on the Xavi side. I think the man's a legend. Love Xavi. But yeah, I don't really see it the same way he did. I think it was risky from the defender. If he had maybe tried to go on for a slide tackle to make it look as if he was at least going for the ball, maybe the referee, that last man stopping a goal scoring opportunity, I think the key thing there is also the fact that it looks like the defender is not looking to play the ball at all. And that kind of like sways the referee to give the red, and probably was a red on the balance of things, which was silly because I think Barcelona could have maybe conceded in that moment and still been good enough to come back, because they were 11v11. I think they were edging the tie, and they were playing at home. But that's done. The Champions League is such a hard tournament to win because you don't get a lot of room. And then the same night Arsenal played, Real went to Manchester and pretty much just parked the bus and succeeded in doing so. And City were clearly the better side by a mile. But football is, again, a game that just teaches us a lot about so many things in life. Sometimes we talk about the underlying metrics, XG, XA, field tilt, all these like sexy statistical measures that help definitely enhance the way we understand the game. And City are, basically a juggernaut when it comes to numbers and of that nature, and the obvious numbers of like goals scored, goals against, right? Like City just top on or near the top. They are at the top or near the top of almost all statistical measures that people use to measure success in the game of football. And yet, they were found wanting, and they did everything, but Madrid just figured it out. That game is played 9 more times. I think Manchester City wins it 7 or 8 times, maybe. But in a game of football, it's not impossible that the 1, 2, or 3 times that the team with the Madrid numbers in that situation wins, especially when they have the kind of talent they also have going the other way on the counter-attack. I think the Arsenal situation is one that it's just hard to speak badly about what this team and what the coach have done, what the club have done. I can see why people from the outside who don't maybe necessarily watch Arsenal week in, week out can label Arsenal butlers or things like that. Don't agree. I have a harder time understanding Arsenal fans who call this team bottlers, because you watch them week in, week out, and you journey with them. And of course you can criticize, but I just have a hard time when a person who watches the team fight as much as this team has fought under Mikel, and then call them bottlers. I think what's been quite consistent, starting with the Amazon season, once Mikel started putting together a team that looks like his own, is that, first of all, he as a manager needs to maybe trust players number 12 to 18 a lot more in the first 75% of the season, so that when we get to the last 25% of the season, those players are still, people that you can trust in a big tie against Bayern Munich, and not that you're playing, with, again, the same 9 or 10 players every time there's a game that means anything. I think that's the problem with Arsenal. I don't think the bottler thing stands scrutiny for me, even though people will say, yeah, but 3 years ago we bottled Champions League. We didn't have players that were being used. And then last year we went up a notch. We went from challenging for Champions League to challenging for the league, and we fell at the last hurdle because, again, there were players maybe that were left cold for too long. And this year we went. I know it looks like if we finish third or if we finish second this year, people could again make an argument that we bottled or we caved in April and May, and I wouldn't begrudge them those conclusions. However, I feel like, again, having gone into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and even though we have one more game more than City, we are 2 points clear. No, 1 point clear, sorry, with a game more. So, I don't know, man. I see progress. I don't want to tell people how to feel about, how to be fans. I just think, though, there's room for disagreement, and as long as we're not disrespecting one another, and that's fine. But yeah, my perspective is that, Arteta is growing as a manager. The team is growing under him. I think us as fans maybe could also grow in some areas. I think a lot of the time diversity of opinion is fine. I just think it's also okay for us to give each other feedback as long as we're being respectful. And I think a lot of fans, especially those who are lucky enough to be at the games, they've done a really good job of lifting this team up. And so hopefully you guys don't give up on at least until the very last kick of the season, and then you can go in on anybody, open season. But just help propel these boys to get as far as they can until that Everton game is over. And then if you want to open a slaughterhouse and take some people up to task and that kind of thing, then go for it. But I think it sucks that we're out of the Champions League. It sucks that we're not in control of our destiny in the league, but we are competing against a historical team, the likes of which I don't think has ever been seen in England, and except for maybe when the Premier League, not the Premier League, sorry, when it was the first division, maybe pre-World War years of the division. I don't know what that looked like, but I don't know if there was this level of quality across the 20 teams in the top division. There's a lot of talent in England, and the money kind of makes it be so. And it's a great league, but it's also, I think, disadvantageous when it comes to the latter stages of Europe, in European competition. Hence you have a representation that's skewed towards Italy, Spain, and Germany when you get to the latter stages. Maybe England will figure that out at some point. But yeah. So I'm overall positive. Yesterday against Wolves, again, another game that really solidified the idea to me that these boys are just done. They're tired. They're really, really tired, and they need help from Mikel and the physios and maybe a bit more support that Mikel can trust going into next season. All right, peace.